Hey guys, have you heard? Wishlisting is officially dead. I'm just kidding. It hasn't died yet. We haven't officially figured that out. But what I can tell you is that Airbnb has now removed this as a hidden search ranking factor. So if you watched this other video that I put out earlier, I'll link it below. But basically, it was a strategy of showing you how to look into your Airbnb listing, into the source code, the HTML code, and see your actual wishlist count, which isn't possible anymore because they've removed it. I'm just going to kind of show you what I mean by that. So you right click. So I've just chosen this listing here in Chicago. Number one, this is not how I normally look at my computer screen. It's really zoomed up right now, and that's just to kind of help you guys out because I don't want to make the video too small so that you guys can't see what I'm actually doing. But anyways, what I've done is I've taken this listing here in Chicago. I opened it up. Hopefully this isn't yours. I apologize if it is. This is just for pure example sakes. And I right clicked. And I clicked View Page Source. That took me to a screen that looks just like this. And then I pressed Command F. And then I tried to find the wishlist count. All right. So the wishlist count used to be here. Well, it kind of still is, I guess. It's still here, but it says null. And null just, it just means 0. So that used to have a number. It doesn't anymore. Before we were tracking what I call wishlist velocity. So that's the amount of wishlist additions that one listing in your market, particularly one that's competitive, that you want to be as high in terms of search rankings as theirs, and that was something that we were tracking. So we were tracking our own wishlist additions, and then we're also tracking the wishlist additions of the competitors that were doing well. And that's that's obviously not something that's possible right now. But I do want to say this so that people aren't really panicking, in a sense, is that just because they remove this does not mean that it is not a factor in terms of your Airbnb rankings, right? So Airbnb did release in the recent, I think it's in the month. When was this released? This was, well, these don't have dates. I could actually find the date, but I'm not going to do that because it's just beyond the scope of this video. But let's look at this blog post here. It's just asking about whether getting added to wishlists will boost your search results or your search visibility, and they say yes it does. It's just that it doesn't happen immediately. There's not a drastic change in your listings search rankings. So what that meant is that we were doing a wishlist promotion, which was very slow, right? It was a very slow, weekly, consistent type of wishlist promotion, and then we were keeping track of that. So right now, that's not possible, obviously, at this point of time, but that doesn't mean that you can't still effectively be a proactive host and pay attention to the changes that you're making and seeing how those affect your rankings, right? So it is still possible, and it's still something that you should do. I mean, that's kind of like the biggest advice I could say to you, is just to pay attention to the things that you do and how effective you are with the changes, and then how those affect your search engine rankings. And not just with Airbnb, but with almost any search engine, right? The focus of this particular video is with Airbnb's search engine. So that's all I have to say. I just want to be clear with you guys. Don't panic. The fact that we don't see this wish list being public anymore, it doesn't mean that you should stop doing your consistent weekly additions of wish list exchanges, or just making your wish list as attractive as, or making your listing as attractive as possible, right? Regardless of whether you're doing this in a manner of doing it as an exchange, or just making your pictures more valuable, right? It's something that's kind of all works together, and everything stacks on top of each other. All right, so that's really all I have to say, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Don't worry about the wish list count not being there. It obviously affects you if you're tracking this, but I would say that to keep going on, because if this is part of your strategy regardless, and if it's working for you, then I don't see any reason why you should be stopping.